Well, greetings from Dubai again. I come here a lot, don't I? I wonder why I come here a lot. Maybe there's another reason I come here often. Anyway, in this video, I'd like to share something with you that I wasn't planning on sharing with you. I thought it might be interesting to share with you my entire plan for weight loss for 2021. I always set weight loss goals and fitness goals every year, but usually I don't attach those to a specific plan. And this year I have a very specific plan I will be executing in a few days. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, and maybe give you regular updates over YouTube.
Alpha Male 2.0. Freedom-focused lifestyle design for men. We do 5 videos a week here on how to make both your business life and woman life more free, because you need both. If you subscribe to this channel, leave a like on this video, and leave a comment on this video, you will automatically be entered into the regular drawing for my online video course on how to create location-independent income, normally $1,400. We regularly announce the winners at the community feed at this channel.
So, as I just said, I always set fitness goals every year. Every year I have a fitness goal. Sometimes I hit that goal. Usually I fail on that goal. As I've talked about many times, most men, in terms of women, money, and fitness, most men have one of these areas that they do well at naturally and another area where they do poor at naturally. And my poor area has been fitness. It has been fitness or weight loss, I should say. I'm pretty healthy. But in terms of body fat percentage, I've had a problem with that off and on most of my life. And so usually I fail on these goals. This year for 2021, I have come up with something a little different. I have put together all of the things that I know work for me over the past few years. I've gathered a lot of data. And I've lost a lot of weight, by the way, over the last few years. Some of you guys who've seen my original videos from about 3-4 years ago, certainly some of the online courses that I recorded 3 or 4 years ago. I was just looking at one the other day. About 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I'm like, oh my God, I was a fat fuck in that course. Damn. So I've lost a lot of weight, but I have a lot more to go. I am obviously not done. So what I have decided to do is share with you what I'm going to do this year and give you regular updates on my progress throughout the next, 6, 7, 8 months. So you can see what I'm doing that is working, what I'm doing that is not working, and maybe even see the transformation. See, even in my face, here in Dubai, I have not been a good boy with eating. I have not been a good boy last 5-6 weeks. So we had Thanksgiving. I was not a good boy in terms of eating. And then we had Pink Firefly's birthday, where we went out to the beach for 5 days, kind of a last hurrah before we left the country. And then a few weeks after that, we had Christmas, and then we have this trip, New Year's. And so anyway, I've just noticed even my face a little bit. I've gained a little weight. So I'm going to go through everything I'm going to do this year to lose body fat. And I'll cover some more detail on it in a second. And at the end, there is something that actually you guys may be able to help me with. All right, so first thing, number one, and again, these are all things that I know for a fact work for me. Some of these things may not work for you. So please do not mistake this as an advice video. I cannot give weight loss advice. Are you fucking kidding? No, this is what I'm doing for me. This is just a personal thing I'm doing here. And these are things I know for a fact work for me because I've tried a billion things. By the way, really quick, I know for a fact I'm going to get a lot of comments with suggestions. Hey, Caleb, have you tried? Hey, Caleb, have you looked into? The answer is yes, I have. My favorite ones are, hey, Caleb, have you ever tried intermittent fasting? I've been intermittent fasting for 4 years, but thanks. Hey, Caleb, have you looked into the carnivore diet? Yes, I did detailed research on the carnivore diet about 2 years ago. Thank you. So you're going to give me a lot of research, a lot of recommendations and things like that. Thank you very much. I don't need more data. I've tried fucking everything. I posted an article on one of my blogs, a list of like 15 things I've tried. My issue is not specifically on what to do regarding tactics. My issue is psychological. I have a psychological problem with food. Some people who are overweight have this, and some people don't have this. So I have run into people, I've mentioned this before in my blogs, where I've run into people who lost 70 pounds in 3 months like that. Just like easily, without even really working hard. And they kept it off. And I'm like, what the fuck? What did these people do? And I realized, it took me years to realize this, the reason they did it is not because of what they did. Eat less calories, that's all you need to do. It's because they didn't have a psychological problem with food. They were normal people who didn't have a psychological problem with food, and over time they got overweight because they got lazy, and then they just lost the weight. I don't have that issue. I have a separate problem where I have a psychological problem with food, and I've been attacking that aggressively last 12 months. I'm going to really hit it hard this year. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So just letting you know, That's the background. Okay, so first thing is ketogenic diet. I do well. My body, I have found, does the best in terms of weight loss and how I feel when I don't eat very many carbs. So ketogenic diets work great for me. I'm going to be focusing on ketogenic. Really for me means a lot of meat, a lot of vegetables, and some cheese. Not too much. Got to watch the calories. I'll cover that in a second. So ketogenic diet. It is not good, in my opinion, to do ketogenic diet 7 days a week nonstop. So there's some cheat stuff in there. I'll cover that in a second, but that's the basis of ketogenic diet. Number 2 is under 1,700 calories a day. I track my calories. I track my calories using an app called Noom, N-O-O-M. Millions of apps do this, doesn't really matter. I've gotten pretty good at estimating how much things are in terms of portion sizes, like a fist equals a cup and things like that. So 1,700 calories a day or so. If I go a little over that, not too bad. I'm a big guy. I'm 5'10 and a half. I exercise 6 times a week. I used to think my metabolism was a problem. It really isn't. It's just my deal with food. I actually did some DNA tests to see if I had genes for retaining body fat that were unusual as compared to the typical person, and I don't. So that was actually kind of a wake-up call for me. I was using my metabolism as kind of an excuse for a while, and that's really not the case. Now, I am very, very endomorphic. That is a fact. That is very true. I'm great at gaining mass, both fat and muscle. My body is very good at that. I also love eating food. I've talked before about how I've noticed a lot of people who are skinny or even skinny fat, people who never get really overweight, don't love eating food. They like it, or they could take it or leave it. I'm one of these guys, like George R.R. Martin, that loves eating food. It's almost an orgasmic experience for me. So it's a little different. So those are my issues. But anyway, but that's all psychological. But anyway, going back to this, tracking calories daily. And I don't have to track them every day. I eat the same thing every day. I found that's easier. That's number 2. Number 3, 2 meals a day. So this is back to intermittent fasting. 2 meals a day, usually within an 8-hour window. I would like to work up to a 1 meal a day model, which is called OMAD, which is, literally only meal per OMAD, only meal, only one meal a day. I'm stupid. OMAD. So I'd like to work up to that. We're meeting 1 time a day. I love that stuff. I like not eating often. I think it's great. So I really like intermittent fasting, and that works very well for me. All right. Number 4, 1 cheat meal per week. Now, several reasons and background for that. Number 1 is it's 1 cheat meal per week, not 1 cheat day per week. I, for years, was doing a cheat day. It did not work because I would binge eat that entire day. I would go down to Burger King or fucking place like that, eat a mountain of like bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, then have donuts for lunch, then have a giant nacho for dinner. I'd eat 4, 5, 6, 7,000 calories a day. It would just completely blow my diet for the week. Stupid. So what I have found for me that works best is OMAD, 1 meal a day, or 2, worst case, and one of those meals is a cheat meal. And tracking the calorie on that cheat meal. Not enforcing a calorie limit. I'm able to eat whatever I want for that cheat meal, but eat that cheat meal. Number 1. Number 2, that way I don't go psychologically crazy. Number 2, I don't think keto is a good thing to do all the fucking time. I think you need carbs occasionally, based on the research that I've done. Doing keto nonstop for months and months on end with no carbs or very little carbs, less than 20, 30 grams of carbs a day, probably not a great idea. So I like that carb boost. So number 5 is, let's see, what is number 5 here? Looking down at my laptop. Number 5 is I'm going to continue to exercise. I exercise 6 days a week. That's the easy part. That's the part I'm good at and I like. I like exercising. I exercise for about an hour every morning, about an hour. I do cardio and mobility and weightlifting. I lift weights 3 times a week. I do progressions up to my 3-rep max. I was doing my 2-rep max. I felt that maybe doing a 2-rep max on a regular basis as a man who's over 50, almost 50, probably not a great idea. Plus a lot of cardio and all that stuff in there. So I'm going to continue to do that. Next thing is tracking my calorie expenditure, 35 calories per day with this Fitbit. So this tracks my calories. But Caleb, Fitbits aren't accurate. They can be up to 28% off. Correct. So I figure if this thing says 3,500 calories burned, that means worst case scenario, I burned 3,000 calories. Okay, best case, I burned 4,000 calories. Great. So this needs to be 3,500 calories burnt by the end of the day. I do not track steps. I think that's fucking stupid. People and their stupid steps. I track calories. Cool? All right. Now, those are the tactical things I'm going to be doing this year over the next few months. Here are the more important things now, the psychological things, which is where my issue is. My issue is not that I'm not following the correct diet, or that I'm not exercising correctly, or that I'm not taking the right supplements. And again, I know I'm going to get a million comments and advice from, hey Caleb, what you should try is this and that. No, I don't need tactical advice. I need to resolve my psychological issue with food. So the next items here are geared toward that. Number 1, daily review of Noom app with daily written intentions. So I use an app called Noom, Noom, that focuses on the psychological aspects of eating, which has really helped me a lot. And so every morning there's a new thing in that app that I review as part of my morning routine. Number 1. Number 2, on that, I also write a daily intention. This is something right out of Atomic Habits, where I write out the intention for the day. Today, I will eat less than X calories and I will exercise Y, or something like that. Every day I will physically write out my intention for the day in terms of what I want for that day psychologically for my food. Next thing is, and this is the one I fucking hate, but I've been doing it. It's hard. Mindful eating procedure every time I eat. So this is a procedure where I have to sit down. And again, most of you don't need to do this because most of you don't have a psychological problem with food like I do. But I have to fucking do this. I have to sit down. It is an 8 or 9 step procedure I have on my phone. Every time I eat, I have to put the food down. I have to close my eyes and center myself. I have to visualize the last time I ate and how full it made me. I have to kind of om out for a minute. Then I have to look at the food. Then I have to smell the food. Then I have to take a single bite and then put the fork down and focus on the flavor. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I just want to gobble the food up and get back to work. I fucking hate this, but it's something I have to do for my psychological growth. So I have an entire procedure now I follow every time I eat. I'll be doing that 100% of the time, even on cheat meals. 100% of the time. So that's the next thing. Number 9 is hypnosis 30 minutes before bed every night. So there are a lot of good weight loss hypnosis things on YouTube you can listen to. You need to use them with headphones. Some of you have sent me some really good ones. I'm using one of them right now. In a future video, maybe I'll give you some links to some of those things I'm using. So you put headphones on, you lay in bed, and you go into a very deep state of hypnosis. Matter of fact, it's so deep that my Fitbit tells me that I'm sleeping during this hypnosis process, even though I'm awake. So I have to actually take the Fitbit off because I track my sleep as well. Separate topic. So I'm doing that every night before bed, every night, no matter what. Number 10, regular reviewing of my goals every morning. I do that already. I review all my goals every morning as part of my morning routine, and my fitness goals are going to be part of that procedure. So no big deal. Now, last one, number 11. This is something that you might be able to help me with, some of you. I would like to hire a fitness coach. So as always, I practice what I preach. I buy ebooks. I buy online courses. I have coaches. I pay coaches myself. So everything I sell, I do myself. So I have never had, not really anyway, a real full-on fitness coach that I've worked with on a regular basis. And what I would like to do, I think, is find someone like that to work with. Ideally, someone who has their own YouTube channel, who has their own social media following, who ideally has lost a bunch of weight. I do not really want to coach with a guy who's been skinny his whole life. That's the challenge with a lot of this internet fitness advice, is a lot of this weight loss advice I have found is given by men who have never been seriously overweight in their entire lives. So some ectomorphic guy, some hard gainer guy is on some fitness forum giving advice to a guy who's trying to lose 100 pounds. And I'm like, no, dude. He's like, hey, man, do sprints. Fucking stupid. So anyway, that's someone I am looking for, someone like that. If any of you know or recommend or can put me in touch with someone like that, I would be willing to get into a relationship with that person where we have some ongoing coaching thing. And maybe if he has some kind of YouTube presence or Instagram presence or something like that, he can post my content on his stuff and vice versa, and we can help each other out. Maybe. Not necessarily, but we can do that. So I am totally open to working with a fitness coach. I am happy to hear your recommendations on that. I am not really going to pay attention to your recommendations on what I should do to lose body fat. I've already gotten millions of them, and I've already been through all that, but thank you very much for your concern. So that's my objective. That's my current plan. What I'm going to do, there's something else I'm going to do real quick. I'll talk about that. What I'm going to do is, in about 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to do an entirely separate video on this. So I'm just going to overview it. There is some body fat that I cannot get rid of because of age and genetics. Some body fat right under my chin, for example. Even when I was 18 years old and pretty lean, I still had this double chin thing. It's a lot smaller than it used to be, but it's still there. I have some body fat on the side of my chest right here. I'm actually going to go in for surgery to get that removed. I'm doing that in about 2-3 weeks, 3-4 weeks, something like that. I don't have my calendar in front of me. But Caleb, you shouldn't do that. You can lose all the body fat you want anywhere you want. Incorrect. Here's a celebrity example. Watch any recent Fast and Furious movie and look at Vin Diesel. Is Vin Diesel overweight? No, he's got low body fat. But whenever you see him from the side profile, he's got this big double chin that hangs down. Why? That is age and genetics. It's something he has no control over. He can surgically remove it, and that's it. So I have two areas here and over here where I'm dealing with age and genetics. I'm going to get that removed. And I'm going to document that entire procedure on Instagram and YouTube so you can see everything I'm going through. I think I'm going to hit that January 12th or so. I'm not sure. I forget the date. Anyway, now that's not going to help me lose weight. That's just another thing I'm dealing with this year. I'm attacking this year in terms of this overall fitness plan. My goal, I've talked about this before, my long-term goal is not just to lose weight, but to become an athlete, to actually get at the athletic level. Kind of a weird goal to set when you're almost 50 years old. I'm about to turn 49, so we'll see. That's the long-term goal. This year, the goal is to get down to 15% body fat. That's my goal this year. That's really it. If I can go below 15%, 9% would be great, but I'm going to baby step this shit. Again, I'm not good at this. I'm trying to be nice on myself. I'm doing what I recommend a lot of you guys do. When you're really trying to work on something that you're not very skilled at, baby steps. Be nice to yourself. So if I'm 15% body fat, I will be so fucking happy. Dude, it'll be fucking awesome. So 15%, so maybe 6 months, I will go in and get a DEXA scan and report the results here. Caleb, what's your body fat percentage now? I have no fucking idea. I'm overweight. I don't need to know the exact percentage. I am 5'10 and a half, and I am right now, I am about, in terms of pounds, I'm in the low 230s, 232, something like that. I'm traveling, so I don't, who knows? I'll weigh myself probably next week, get something more accurate when I start this process, when I get back to the States. That's really it. That's all I've got for you today. If you have recommendations on a fitness coach, ideally one who is social media active, let me know. And I will continue to provide updates on my progress throughout the next few weeks so you can see what I do right, what I do wrong. It'd be really neat to have kind of a record of this so I could go back and look at this being the before picture and then showing the after picture maybe in 6 months. Much skinnier face. We'll see. That's it. Have fun. See you in the next video. Bye.